It is 1:02. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. And NFL news, the Chiefs have announced they have signed wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster to a one-year deal. Schuster rejoined the Chiefs in 2024 after a one-year stint with the New England Patriots. In other NFL news, the Eagles defensive end Brandon Graham is calling it a career after 15 seasons in the league, the 13th overall pick in the 2010 NFL Draft. Graham amassed 76 sacks and 22 forced fumbles across 206 NFL games. The NCAA tournament starts this evening with the St. Francis Red Flames taking on Alabama State Hornets at 5:40, and the UNC Tar Heels take on the San Diego State Aztecs at 8:10. You can catch those games right here on The Zone following 3HL at 6 o'clock. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
With Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here, 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. You want to get in on the conversation. We're going to kind of do a free agency reset today. We're going to talk about a little bit about the leverage Tennessee Titans have going into the draft. But I got to start off with something, Blaine. You know, I maybe a lot of people do not know what a downspout is, because apparently that is the case.
What are you talking about in the studio?
Yeah.
People don't know that?
Maybe it's not common knowledge that the downspout, attaches to your gutter that funnels the water to the appropriate places based on your surveyed land. So today we've come to find out after the big storm that just came through.
Oh, yeah.
That apparently the people that, and I won't name names, but the people that installed our back porch, we did a back covered porch a couple of years ago when we first moved in this house. They just attached the downspout that was already there, that they modified a little bit, to like a little sheet of metal. They didn't even attach it back to the house. So that thing was just pouring water everywhere after this last storm. So me and my wife, she made sure I didn't fall and kill myself. And so we were attaching the downspout today back to the house. I come down, I see a couple alerts, a couple of group texts, group chats saying that apparently there has been some slander thrown my way during the Buck Rising show, and Ron Slay and Ramon Foster were on the Buck Rising show, and this is what they had to say about me.
Yeah,
something.
I want to do bowling. I want to see somebody run. If you run with your hands out wide, I can't wait to joke you.
By percentage chance, Zach Lyons the most likely to run with his hands out wide. There's no.
Zach Lyons scoots. He don't run. He's more of a scooter. If Zach run like that, who's got the worst swing? I'm gonna go Mayer.
Ooh, you think?
Mayer was a little bit. It's maybe his feet. He pigeon-toed.
Thank you.
Now, I don't understand.
What? I
don't understand. I think it's because I have glasses, Blaine. I think this is glassism at its finest. That they are basically stereotyping me because I wear glasses and I am short. And I think that's very uncalled for. I played baseball all the way from T-ball all the way to 7th grade. I played basketball all the way from, I guess, like 1st grade, 2nd grade, all the way to 9th grade. I played football in 9th grade. It was only 1 year stint. It was not made for me and my size, unfortunately. And I had played soccer for the most part of most of my life. This is uncalled for. And this is just because I wear glasses. This is like when people say I look like Harry Potter when it's just because I have glasses.
But you think it's because you wear glasses, because they didn't say anything about glasses in there.
No, but that's why. That's why it is. Because
I'm going to tell you a little secret. I've wore glasses since I was
but you
8 years
also
old.
have like a football resume to fall back on. I don't have a Hall of Fame football resume to fall back on. I'm not getting inducted to the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, I'll tell you that much.
How did this come up? I don't know how you got
they
through
were
in the
talking
fire.
about going down to King's Bowling today down in Franklin for the March Madness
right.
extravaganza
Yeah,
that 3HL will be broadcasting live there from 3 p.m.
So
on.
go check 'em out.
So you got to go check them out. And they were asking him for Ramon if he would be able to go. And Ramon said, well, no, he's coaching. He's got one of his kids is playing baseball. So he has a baseball game to go to. So he couldn't make it. And then they started talking about baseball and softball teams and doing all this stuff. And apparently I am the worst runner of the group. Now, listen, I may be the slowest runner. There's probably no doubt about that. I bet everybody except for maybe Jackson could beat me in a 40-yard dash.
I got you, buddy.
No, you do not. First off, I've seen your baseball swing, too.
Hey, no. We need to get a sponsored event, Jackson versus Zach in the 40-yard line, or get somebody to, at least film, getting your times individually if that can happen. But
No, I need a race so I can bump him. I'm a very aggressive racer.
oh, so you're trying to hold him back?
I would
He's
hold
trying
him
to
back.
treat it like it's go-kart racing.
Absolutely.
He's, Donkey Kong or Bowser trying to
that's
get me.
what I used to do to Jimmy Smith when I was running.
Yeah, a little hand checking.
Yeah,
just kind of throw
mess
him
up
on
the
a
rhythm. Of the
But this
run.
idea that I guess I don't know if it's like running with your arms out like behind you or to the side, flailing
know what
around
you're
like an inflatable arm tube man, or out in front of you like you're trying to catch a baby falling out of a burning building or something. But I run normal. I just don't run fast.
All right, there you
So
go.
I just want to say,
That's okay.
slander will not be tolerated. You can slander me about a lot of things,
We got to get this to go at Jackson versus
but that
Zach.
is insane to think that I have the high percent. I would bet that Buck runs funnier than I do.
I do think Buck runs funny.
It would have to be.
It's just very stiff.
Yeah.
runs
I mean,
very
I am a stiff person. So but this idea that I run like an inflatable arm tube man is insane.
said
It's
that?
insane.
They
I mean,
said
it's
it.
basically what they're saying because my arms are like out for whatever reason. Who runs like that? That would be be silly.
But they were just joking.
Yeah,
You
I know
think
they
it's
were
for-
joking.
but I know it's all fun and games, but I mean, you think it's for the glasses? I want glasses.
It's definitely because I wear glasses. So here's where I'm at, though.
Oh, my.
I do have something right here that is very important. Brett Gilbert at Brett Gilbert TV put out a Titans media member madness bracket. So I don't know if you've noticed. You've probably been tagged twice because you've made it through each round.
Oh.
So
Who is he? Who is he?
he's some TV producer, but he's based out of Atlanta, Georgia. So I don't know if he had ties here previously, but he does. This is his second annual one. He did one last year. So you're in it. I believe we're on to the Elite Eight now. Is that correct? Yeah, the Elite Eight. Okay, so I just want to let you know that you've made it to the Elite Eight.
No.
So in the Sweet 16, it was every radio host at the station made it to the Sweet 16. So that was really good for 105.
Does this guy work for Cumulus or anything?
No. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But this is voted on by the people.
Oh, right.
So-
I was
so-
just saying because
so-
it's connection.
yeah.
Cumulus and
Voted on by the people. So all of us made it to the Sweet 16. I will say this. Not everybody made it to the Elite Eight, Blaine. Cover 2, 100% made it to the Elite Eight. You beat out Jimmy Morris of Music City Miracle. I beat out Paul Kaharski. So mine was an upset. So I made it through.
Oh, so how many people did you pay for the vote?
I didn't pay anybody a vote.
Just kidding.
Here's the thing, okay? Don Davenport, we had a little zone-on-zone crime. It was Don Davenport versus Will Bowling. Don Davenport won.
Oh.
Kayla Anderson made it through.
Oh.
She beat Justin Mello, who's been on the show. Ramon Foster made it through. Ron Slay made it through. Brent Doherty made it through.
This is going to be like the SEC in the tournament.
This is kind of like the SEC in the tournament. Nobody from Buck's show made it through. Just want to throw that out there. You guys talking about me running funny. You guys didn't even make it to the Elite Eight. I mean, you guys couldn't even make it to the Elite Eight. I mean, Buck Rising.
I was wondering where you were going with this.
Buck Rising lost to Wes Wisely.
Who was that?
Who runs the Titan Stats account where he just aggregates data for the Titan Stats and keeps everybody updated on all the news and everything.
I have no idea.
Buck lost to him. Lucas lost as well. And so I'm just saying 100% hit rate, 3HL, and cover 2. And technically, I would say a 100% hit rate for Ramon, Kayla, and Will, just because, Will just lost to Don. That's probably the only reason. That's just, it's a win for everybody, in my opinion. But, Buck and Lucas, they couldn't really carry it, and they couldn't really deliver it. Speaking of batting average, they're batting 0.
Oh, my.
All right, let's go to the phones. If you guys want to talk about the draft, talk about who runs funny and who is the favorite Titans media members, we got you right here. Let's go to Tristan, who wants to talk the NFL draft. Tristan, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Okay, I don't think they take Cam Ward just because his percentages, of throwing motion is off. I think they take Kyle McCord, who broke Trevor Lawrence's statistics, had the best statistics year ever, and he gets the ball out in 3 seconds or less.
With the number 1 pick?
Or trade down, get more draft picks, and draft him in the 2nd round or 3rd round.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, cool. It's really hard for me to ignore, at this point, it's like the Las Vegas Strip of neon signs that the Tennessee Titans are taking Cam Ward. I can't. I can see a trade down, but I don't think that it's Abdul Carter at 1. I don't think that's Shadur Sanders at 1. I don't think that it's Travis Hunter at 1. I think it is if they stay at 1, it's all Cam Ward, and that's kind of where I'm at with this draft. I don't know if,
but you're not ruling out that it could be a possible trade.
Yeah, I'm not ruling out.
If they stay at 1, they're taking
the Bears last year never ruled it out. They said, it would take a historic call, and that's what everybody in the league said, because everybody in the league said they're open to trade. You just have to pay a lot to get them off the pick. And I think that's where the Titans are at. I don't think that the Titans are going to settle for some bad trade offer. I think it would have to be a haul, maybe even higher than what we've seen in the past, much like the Chicago Bears.
Why would it be more than in the past?
Because I think they love Cam Ward. You have to overpay a team to get them off what they think is
a better prospect than Caleb Williams?
No, but I think that in this draft, I think that's arguable. I don't think it's maybe flat out and yes or no, but I do think Caleb Williams is the better prospect myself, and I think probably most of the NFL will too. But what I'm saying is that to get a team to move off a player that they love, that is also a quarterback, you are going to have to give up a historic call. You're not going to be able to get away with a 1st round this year, a 3rd round this year, a 1st round next year, and a 3rd round next year. You're not going to be able to get away with that. That's not good enough.
Yeah, well, you said a haul. It just brought me back to all the different players. And every draft is different, and it's about what's available and how much you want to pay for it. But, if they were saying Caleb Williams was a generational player, whether he is or isn't, I thought the value of him being rated coming out of college is a higher rating than Cam Ward. So I don't know if the value would be somewhat similar or less, but still a haul.
Yeah, you got to be a haul.
Still a haul, but I just think, it's going to be really interesting because if someone offers something, especially a team in the Titan situation, that's why I asked these questions a while back, is what's more valuable when you need a quarterback, do you ever pass up a franchise, in your mind, quarterback, or do you go with the trade value in the haul that you're talking about of picks because of your team and where they stand? And I wonder if that changed based off of their signings with Dan Moore Jr. and the other offensive lineman, the guard. What's his name? Zeitler. Zeitler, yeah. So did that kind of then push them in a manner of maybe we're leaning a little more towards a quarterback, whether it's drafting with the 1st pick or a veteran? They still haven't signed anyone, but it makes us think that it looks like all targets, which maybe is true, that they go for a quarterback in the draft, but there's still some quarterbacks still available.
We are going to talk more about this when we come back and why I think the Titans have the most leverage of any team in the draft. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
Struggling with joint pain, suffering from a recent injury, looking to recover faster after surgery? Well, at Edge, we've got you covered. From powerful peptide stacks like BPC 157 to TB 500 to PRP treatment, stem cell therapy, and high film muscle stimulation, Edge Peptide is your go-to solution for faster healing and recovery. And as an athlete myself, I know how frustrating pain and injuries can be. And that's why now is the perfect time to take control of your wellness and finally address those nagging issues. Whether it's golf, tennis, or any activity you love, don't let pain hold you back any longer. Edge specializes in regenerative treatments designed to reduce inflammation, promote tissue repair, and improve mobility, helping your body heal naturally while avoiding surgery whenever possible. And right now, we're offering a free $250 consultation with your initial treatment. And all you have to do is just go to edgepeptide.com. Yes, that's edgepeptide.com. Or you can just give them a call today at 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. We've been talking about poll votes, favorite Titans media members. Buck and Lucas struck out in the Sweet 16. They have been eliminated. They're the only show not to have someone represented. 3HL is entirely represented, and of course, Cover 2 is as well. We appreciate all your votes. Let's go to John, who wants to talk about Buck. John, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Oh, man.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. I am kind of like you, Zach. I wear glasses. In school, I was called Coca-Cola because they were so thick. And I want to put up $100 to be donated to the winner of their charity of choice, a race between you and Mr. Buck. I Can Do Everything. And the only stipulation is Buck has to be at least 20 yards away from you so he doesn't pretend to run into you or any of that kind of stuff. Because I know that's what Buck would do, because he is a capital L loser.
Legs whip there.
I will say this. If you're betting on if I win or not, I would not bet on me. I don't know how fast Buck is, but I can tell you, I am slow as molasses.
Buck did play high school football, though, right?
That's what sources tell me.
Yeah, he was an
But I find that very hard considering he knows very little about football.
He played defensive end for a high school in Indiana.
What high school was this? Let's find proof. Can we get what high school this is? I am from Indiana. I know he's from Evansville.
Let me text him.
That's 4 hours from Indianapolis.
Yeah, see, I played running back and cornerback, so
we play the same position.
we play the same position. But I am slow. But at least now I am, because I have let my and I'm sure I wasn't fast in high school or college either. But ever since I discovered how do you say beer, my athleticism has gone out the window. My athleticism resides in flip cup and beer pong.
Mater D, Evansville Mater D.
Oh, Modern Day.
Modern Day.
Yeah, Modern Day. They have a great wrestling program.
I say Mater D. That's what you call a waiter.
Yeah, Modern Day. Yeah, they had a great wrestling program there. Their football, maybe they were good a year or two, but I've never, they weren't on the radar.
Yeah. But I'll say this, my athleticism has definitely gone. So Buck, he actually works out. So unless they're vanity muscles, if I beat Buck in a race, that'd be really bad for wherever he works out. That'd be bad publicity for them, because I have not ran in a race. The last time I ran in a race was probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I think there's a clip out there, my friend Blake, if he's listening, of us doing it. And I just we're running down our street because we had a guy's day at our house. My wife was out of town, and had a friend in Memphis. And we both ate 2 or 3 hot dogs, and then we decided that we were going to run. And we're running down the street, and you just see me veer off into the to my yard and go just straight in the house.
You have your own personal video of it.
Oh, I don't, because the other people had a videotape of it. So
I'm sure they sent it to you, though.
Yeah. I am definitely not
I'd love
fast.
to see that video.
I'm definitely not fast. It's on Twitter somewhere, for sure. So I do not, if you want to do a race for charity of choice, I'm fine with that. But I would feel really bad if you put actual money on me to win the race, because you would lose that money more than likely. So
yeah, you and Buck, that'd be a thing.
Yeah. I've always thought that maybe next year we should do a station-wide combine. And we all do the combine drills, include producers in on it, and do a station or, 105 The Zone combine and see how good everybody does, or how well everybody does at all the testing. What do you think?
Yeah, we did something like that at D1 a while back. And I think it was for the military and a charity event there. Yeah, we all did that. Everybody pulled a hamstring that ran.
Yeah.
Except for me. I think I ran a 4.6, and I slowed down at the end because I felt my body tightening up.
My body would tighten up as soon as I start running.
It would be
terrible. It like I said.
Oh
I am not fast at all. And I've never been fast. I'm an effort guy. That's why I had to play fullback in soccer.
Yeah,
they didn't want
like.
me at midfield or, up front, as a forward. They needed me back there in the back because I'm an effort guy.
Yeah, I'm an effort guy too.
Yeah. So there we go. 615-737-1045. You want to get in on the conversation. The Tennessee Titans have all the leverage. And what I mean by that is when you go in to make a deal with the Tennessee Titans, everything they have done signals actions, words, media, does not matter. Everything that you've heard signals quarterback. Their actions signal quarterback. Okay? They signal Cam Ward. So if you are the Giants and you are all about Cam Ward, the only path to get Cam Ward that can assure you that you are going to get Cam Ward, 100% certainty, is to trade up with the Tennessee Titans. The New York Giants regime, the head coach and the GM, have the explicit directive by the owner to find their quarterback of the future. Find the franchise quarterback. Now, obviously, they're trying to work through getting Aaron Rodgers and all that, but at the end of the day, their directive from ownership, find the quarterback of the future. So, that's well known. Everything is pointing to the Tennessee Titans taking the quarterback that you like, allegedly. Maybe they like Shedeur. But the only way you can 100% get the quarterback you want is in a trade. So to me, this idea that Tennessee Titans, because there is a sort of a weird narrative out there that the Tennessee Titans should just settle on, you may not get the picks that you want, so just settle. But they have all the leverage. If they don't maximize the leverage, which it looks like that they are doing, and get a haul for the pick to move out, then I question their ability to negotiate at the table. Because at the end of the day, this is a negotiation, right? Even if they love Cam Ward, you keep the door open. You keep phone lines clear for the Giants, who may grow desperate and more with each passing day as you get closer to the draft, because they may not have a quarterback and they may panic and they may be silly enough. I mean, we've seen them be silly. We have video evidence of them being of Joe being a bad GM. We've seen plenty of times where owners have stepped in to make big moves because they themselves feel desperate. At the end of the day, the Titans have all the leverage, so I don't see why people think that they don't and why people think that they should settle for anything less than what we talked about yesterday.
Well, in context, I mean, I think they have somewhat all the leverage. I look at it like depending on the year, when you're selling a home. Or you sell a home last year, you made a boatload. But this year, maybe not as much of a boatload. And so, because guess what? The market has shifted. So to me, you can still get what you are satisfied with. That's not, in my mind, that's not settling. Settling is if the options are none and you have to. So I don't think they're definitely not in that situation. But I think they're 85% there that they could, get a nice ransom for them. But every year is a different year. And, you don't hear anybody saying Cam Ward's a generational talent like they were about Caleb Williams. Whether that is true or not, those words aren't being said because he's not rated as high as Caleb Williams. So I think they can get good value. I just don't know if they'll be getting what you call a boatload to make you feel, woo, we just stole one from whoever, whatever team. So I can never say that they have all of it, but I would definitely agree that they have a lot.
See, I look at it like this, though, too. So not only do the Giants situation have that, but talking about last year, well, the reason why most people didn't really want to trade up for Caleb Williams, or at least offer a historic call, I mean, I'm sure they called, and that we didn't hear a lot of smoke around people actually seriously trying to trade up is, first off, they're probably asking a lot, but second off, it's because of the other quarterbacks available. And here, you don't know if at 3, if even Shedeur Sanders will fall to you right now. So to me, with the supply being as limited as it is, with 2 first-round quarterbacks, because I'm not including Jackson Dart. I don't care who has mock drafts with him going to the Steelers or anything like that, or even in the top 3 or 5 picks, what Charles Davis did.
But did you have Bo Nix?
Yeah. I had Bo Nix going first round.
Right, but I mean, he ended up turning them to be better. So it depends on the coach. That's what I'm getting to, because there's other factors outside of the market.
But if you're the Giants, you're not bringing that to the table.
Well, Dayball's a pretty solid coach now. He's did a lot at Alabama.
Yeah,
let's not forget now. This guy he's pretty solid.
I would just say
sometimes
that I would
you got to have the pieces to the puzzle to make those puzzles. I never was a big fan of Daniel Jones, and he inherited him. Now, did he want to keep him? Well, whatever. What was his other option? See, and so then they had to give him a contract, and then they had to let Saquon go. So
I could see them doing
matter.
the second round, third overall. I'd be very surprised.
Oh,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. So, but I look at it like this, that's another reason to me that Tennessee Titans have even more leverage than even the Bears did last year, is not just because, I mean, I know Caleb Williams was considered a better prospect, but there were many other quarterbacks available to you. I mean, like if you didn't get Caleb Williams, and the people that were trying to trade up ended up with the quarterback that they kind of wanted without having to trade up. And so here, you don't have that option because you don't know what the Browns are going to do. The Browns have done a good job of really helping the Tennessee Titans out, right? If you're the Giants,
so
you're kind of like,
it's a weaker quarterback draft.
Well, it is.
As far as high cylinder, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
100% is. I mean, I think. Like, I can't even entertain the idea of Jackson Dart or Tyler Shuck being anything in the
even
NFL.
McCord?
Kyle McCord, I would, but in that first round, I just can't put him in that first round. I would take Kyle McCord over those other two guys. Yeah, but that was a weird draft.
It was a bad quarterback draft. See,
but this one has two options, and I don't think that you have to reach. Like, I feel like that. I don't really necessarily feel that was a reach for the Steelers because it kind of just happened to be the Steelers.
Watch this. What if the Giants trade back and then draft Kyle McCord? And when I say back, like 15.
Oh, my gosh.
Pick more picks, and then they take him. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if you...
But then you kind of know you're fired, right? Like, I mean, there is no way
if you have conviction about the guy as a player, it doesn't matter. We can use any quarterback, but
that's just a high, to me, that's a high variance play. And
there's a quarterback draft, and then there's the draft.
I know, but that's a high variance play.
How would you compare Kyle McCord to Bo Nix?
Oh, I would take Bo Nix all day long. It ain't even close to me.
What's the difference?
I liked Bo Nix. I thought Bo Nix...
Right, I mean, I did too. But I'm just using him because a lot of people didn't, and then some people did. Yeah. Right? But then he got with Sean Payton, and then that made the difference as far as
I don't know, though. Kyle McCord, man. I don't know. Listen, I'm not saying that Jackson Dart's not going to go first round. What I'm saying is that I don't think that factors into... Because I see some people in the chat talk about this. I don't think that factors into the Giants' level of desperation. Now, if they fail to get the quarterback of the future, then they may get real desperate, right?
If they're so desperate, why haven't they at least signed one of the guys that are out there? And I'm talking about, we can go down the list.
I think because they're trying not to be. I think right now they're trying to wait out Aaron Rodgers because they want to have that plan with Aaron Rodgers. Because then it pretty much that. Getting Aaron Rodgers dings the leverage Tennessee Titans may have. But I don't think the Tennessee Titans care because I think the Tennessee Titans are like 98% going to draft Cam Ward. Like, I think it is the Vegas Strip of neon signs just lit up, all pointing to one direction, that is Cam Ward. And, I mean, I understand that could be, all a smoke screen. But I think it's either Cam Ward, 98%, and 2% is a trade back. I don't think anything else is there on the table for this team.
Yeah. We shall see. I've just never been a guy that's saying that they're all in. I know you left your little 2% there to transfer. I mean, it's probably all true, but man, you just never know. With you talking about desperation, on that last split second, we'll give you another third-round pick, the Giants or whatever it is, and
then that bumps up your overall value in Hall and everything else, and maybe it does. But I think it's going to have to be more than it's going to have to be for them to even start really considering it, really coming back with counters. It's going to have to start at like 2 first, 2 seconds. And then you go from there.
Give me your perspective on why do you think the value must be more or the same on what's been given up from past drafts? Because to me, that's a little skewed in that it's just a matter of who's available, what do you need, and what you need to be satisfied.
I definitely think it should be the same. It should be a 20% overvalue. And the reason why I think that is because that's what everybody else has been able to get. And some of those teams have been not been great quarterback drafts as well.
Right.
So not every one of these trades. So the people have already taken advantage. But that's also how the NFL works. They use, much like agents, use clients, AAVs, to bump up and get money for their clients. A team is going to look at the draft board and say, historically, with all this data that we have, we know that we should be at least getting 20% of what it is. Even Daniel Jeremiah said, historically, on average, 20% over the value.
Watch this. I'm going to ask you this question, and this is the last thing, just being on the other side of it. That's what this conversation is what if the Titans already had their franchise quarterback? What if they already had it? What if Levis was their guy? They already knew he showed last year. Let's just take out our window, or whoever it is. They already have him. Where's their value? They're still going to get a king's ransom?
I still think 20%. I do. Because I think that's what you saw with the Carolina Panthers when they got the number one after having when they went up for the Bears for Bryce Young. When they went up to the Bears for Bryce Young. But the Bears had Justin Fields. They didn't have a franchise quarterback, technically. They were at least willing to trade back, get DJ Moore, and see if they had it. And they still traded back, and they got a real nice haul, too. We need to start thinking about it and breaking it down.
Well, just administration, they could say they were thinking forward.
I mean, you could almost think that Justin Fields is Will Levis is your Justin Fields if you're the Tennessee Titans.
I was just saying you already have your franchise quarterback. And when I say that, I'm talking about it could be a 10-year vet.
Yeah.
If you already have it, I don't know if the value in their minds is just as valuable because they say, well, we'll move up, but we'll give you enough, but maybe not all the way in on if though you don't have a quarterback. I think
with this, the circumstances of it being Cam Ward, and the only way the Giants can secure Cam Ward is if they trade up to one. You just have the leverage. And right now, you have not let anybody know that you're not even interested in Cam Ward. So this could be a situation where they just continually to say no, right? This is what I would do if I was selling. I would say, no, I'm not interested. Hang up the phone. No, I'm not interested. Hang up the phone. Eventually, they're going to keep getting desperate and maybe offer you more. Even if I don't love Cam Ward, they're going to give you more. It's the art of negotiation. When you have this amount of leverage, you have the power to be able to say no and string them along to a certain point. And especially if Aaron Rodgers chooses the Steelers, right? If Aaron Rodgers chooses the Steelers, man, they're going to get real desperate. And that's just how it rolls. And I think that if you are a good negotiator, you should be able to get at least, no matter what the situation is, the 20% over value. Yeah. And it's just how business works. And it doesn't mean, and again, I say this, they can love Cam Ward and still entertain offers. Does not mean it does not say anything about Cam Ward's value or anything that they love. Right. It just says that, hey, they're smart businessmen. They're keeping all their options on the table. And if someone comes in and wows them and they're like, well, I really love Cam Ward, but I can't turn down 3 firsts and 2 seconds, then, yeah, you would take that chance and make that trade. You get what I'm saying? It's very low probability that happens. It's a historic call, but it's unrealistic. But you keep the door open. You never shut the door closed. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I wouldn't just hang up, though, like you said, negotiating styles, I know for radio is a little bit different than in the moment, but I would always want to say, well, what are you talking about? And like, nah, that's not enough. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and when I say no, that's what I mean. Yeah. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Tennessee Titans free agency. Got some free agents plans for you. Got some basically cap space for you to work with, some cash numbers. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop, Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here at 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Season Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. You want to get in on the conversation. And join us at Kings Franklin on Tuesday, March 18th, later today, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the Ultimate Basketball Watch Party featuring live broadcasts from your favorite local radio stations. It'll be your only chance to see all your favorite local shows live at the same time. The Kenny Smooth Morning Show will be taking over the afternoons. Tyler Reese will share all his music knowledge and the worst bracket picks. And 105 The Zone's 3HL will be your go-to for up-to-date sports news and information. Enjoy nonstop entertainment, music, and your chance to win signed merchandise from your favorite artists and athletes. What can make this even sweeter, you say? Click the link below. Well, sorry, you guys don't have the link for it, but you can get a $10 buffet ticket to get unlimited appetizers and a drink ticket while you enjoy the games. Don't miss the biggest hoop celebration in Nashville. You can go to sweetdeals.com/nashville/9077885-cumulus-media-Nashville. That will go over well. I'm sure everybody wrote that down, that link. But you can also get the stuff at the door. You can get your tickets in advance for 105 The Zone. All right. So we're kind of doing like a mini roster reset here for the Tennessee Titans as Wave 2 of free agency begins. But I do want to, give you a little bit of news. Dylan Radins is visiting the Seahawks today. The Seattle Seahawks. So Dylan Radins is making his way out there. It's kind of a little surprised that he didn't get a little look from the New England Patriots, but he's making a visit out to the Pacific Northwest. They are in dire need of some interior offensive line help for their new quarterback, Sam Darnold. Geno Smith was running for his life last year and was still able to do pretty well. So it'll be interesting to see.
10-7, right?
Yeah. So
I didn't know they had line off issues.
Yeah, very much so. And so he would be a major upgrade. And Justin Otten is up there, his former run game coordinator and, of course, tight ends coach here at the Tennessee last year. But he was also run game coordinator 2 years ago. So he is up there in Seattle as well. So this will be a really good fit for Dylan Radins, and he is an upgrade over whatever they had last year.
Yeah, it's all about the market. I like Dylan Radins, especially last year. I thought going into training camp that he'd win the guard job. He ultimately did, however you want to say it happened, whether people retired or he just went out. But and I thought he had a solid, considering what his career was like before that, once he got under Bill Callahan, and just injury issues there at the end. But, I think he's a solid player. Security blanket at worst case scenario of a backup, but for sure, if he gets a chance to start, average starter, I thought in this league last year, he showed well.
That's a guy that, he's kind of worked hard, through.
Did.
I mean, he was a second round pick. I don't know if he really truly ever lived up to the second round pick, but that's not his fault technically that he was overdrafted. But I think through all the crap that he had gone through when he first arrived, they put him at 5 different positions all through training camp.
I don't think that bodes very well for anybody.
No.
So that kind of stunts your development. Yes. And I thought when they left him at guard, then he took off. And then he got his body right. Then he coming off an ACL and everything else. So through the years. So I thought really that was his best year, and he showed well.
Yeah. And listen, the Titans got an upgrade in Kevin Zeitler.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing him back here, at least in probably not in the starting role, but backup
but they
role.
went with Blake Hance. Don't know about that one, but I understand that maybe Dylan Radins can get paid more elsewhere and get playing time elsewhere. I think this is a perfect situation for him. And this is kind of what you're going to be seeing these next few weeks. We're deep into the quote unquote second phase of free agency. So what you're going to see is Dylan Radins probably signs a 1-year contract. It's probably worth $3 to $4 million. He's going to start, and then he's going to hit the market again next year. And that's what you're going to see. Those are the types of contracts you should start seeing now, or these 1 or 2 year deals for very minimal money that aren't going to break the bank. And Dylan Radins is going to be a good case. And I think that Dylan Radins, if he can stay healthy, and there's going to be a lot of spotlight over in Seattle, right? Because Sam Darnold is there. So a lot of national media attention over at Seattle. And if Dylan Radins really shows out and puts it on tape and all that kind of stuff, because he put it on tape, but then he got injured, and then his tape wasn't so good last year. But as a whole, when he is healthy, he is a starting average guard in this league, and teams are constantly looking for starting offensive linemen in this league. And he's at the right price point too.
Yeah, if I was them, the Seahawks or whoever's looking for his services, I'd try to lock him in. That way I don't have to worry about him playing really well.
Don't let him leave the building. As long as his medical's checked out.
I would say a 3-year in my mind
Gotcha.
at a modest price. And that means like, okay, well, you think you're around a 3-4, we'll give you 5 over 3 years. And he may think, oh, I'll take that. Guess what? Then we win because when he goes out and outplays that contract, then what happens?
Right. You got him locked down.
We got him locked down. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be real easy for a guy like Dylan Radins to probably outplay his contract too, because I do think he is an average starter.
Yeah,
I don't think he's elite.
No.
But if you're telling me that I had a choice between him and
Whoever's
most
on
of
the
the
line
guards
last
in the most of the guards in the NFL that were available, I'd be choosing Dylan Radins. I'm kind of surprised that the Bengals haven't picked up on him. I know the Bengals are in desperate need of a guard. I'm kind of a little surprised that they haven't gone in after him. But this is a guy, maybe there's something there, coaches talk. Maybe there's something there that we don't know about Dylan Radins. But I think at the end of the day, whoever lands him and at the price that he lands, you are going to get a guy that probably outplays his contract. Now, the Tennessee Titans went around and they signed Kevin Zeitler, right? I don't even think we really got to talk a lot about Kevin Zeitler last week when it went down, but that is a guy that is a clear upgrade. He's always healthy. He allows very few sacks, and he's very dependable, and he's been that way his entire career, and he's seen every type of franchise, and I think that's very important. He's been a part of winning cultures, losing cultures, Baltimore Ravens, Detroit Lions. I mean, he's a guy that's seen it all, and that's a good guy to have in a room, and we'll talk more about that why. We'll also get to your phone calls, 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
It is 2 o'clock. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. In NFL news, the Chiefs have announced they have signed wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster to a one-year deal. Schuster rejoined the Chiefs last season after a one-year stint in New England. Eagles defensive end Brandon Graham is calling it a career after 15 seasons in the NFL. The 13th overall pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, Graham amassed 76 sacks and 22 forced fumbles across 206 NFL games. And former Titans guard Dylan Radins will visit with the Seattle Seahawks today, according to a report from Mike Garafolo. The NCAA tournament starts this evening with the St. Francis Red Flames taking on the Alabama State Hornets. That game tips off at 5:40, and the UNC Tar Heels take on the San Diego State Aztecs at 8:10. You can catch both of those games right here on The Zone following 3HL at 6 o'clock. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour 2 of Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. I've been meaning to say it, and I hate to say it on the air because I just don't want to embarrass you, but I love that hat.
Oh,
I think that's an awesome hat. I don't know if anybody else sees it. I think it's an awesome hat.
Oh,
I like
I've had it for a while.
I know. I don't think I've seen you wear it.
This is my first time I wore it. I've had it. This was the alumni.
I like simple designs on hats, like these. That Nashville Stars, the fake baseball team that's supposedly coming here. They released a hat recently. Hideous. It is an ugly hat. It looks like a New York Yankees ripoff. Like it has the letters overlapping, and it looks just like a Yankees hat, like the N and the Y overlap and all that kind of stuff. Is that?
Oh, so you like it, Jackson, too? I got to get your approval.
That's an elite hat.
It is an elite hat.
You know where I wear hats every day. I really like that. It's a rope hat, which is a very popular style right now. Very big fan.
Oh, okay.
When did you get that hat?
I have to thank Miss Amy Adams Shrunk for the alumni. This is some of the gifts that they gave us this year.
This year? Is that with your Delaney Walker bobblehead like the season ticket holders got?
No. We get it came through the mail, and it's a whole big old box. It's kind of a thing, and and this was one of the gifts in there.
I think it's an awesome hat. I'm not like a hat
She's
guy.
been outstanding with the alumni as far as the gift giving and the alumni weekend. It's pretty strong.
I'm not a hat guy because my head's really big, so hats don't look good on me. Yeah, and then my hats don't look good on me, so I just don't wear them.
You just have a big head.
Yeah, I just have a big head.
That's okay. Embrace it. That's good. There's a lot of knowledge in there.
But I got a lot of hair, so I think I make up for it that way. It's a big forehead, though, so it looks like I'm balding. So there you go. Of course, we're talking about the draft, but I also just want to give a free agency update. We'll also have the Coach Mac with us for our weekly Mac Attack. But let's go to the phones real quick. Let's go to Ryan, who wants to talk the draft. Ryan, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good. How are you?
Great this afternoon.
Good deal. So I want to talk about the draft. Basically, so if the Titans trade back and get Carter or Travis Hunter, do you see the Titans going after maybe like a Joe Flacco just to kind of push Will Levis in the quarterback room? Didn't know how you guys felt about that. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, Ryan. They'll have to do something. So if you were to trade back, you would have more picks in this draft, and I think that you would be very wise to do what we kind of were talking about earlier, like depending on what picks you got, getting a Kyle McCord, getting a Seth Hennigan, taking a chance on some of these quarterbacks because you need competition. And if you fail there, I mean, Joe Flacco ain't going to win you a lot of games, but he's better than what you got right now on the roster. And I mean, you're in. Here's the thing: you're in dire straits if you don't walk away with a quarterback, whether it's Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, because you're banking on Joe Flacco to save your job. You're banking on Kyle McCord to save your job, or Tyler Shuck. Any combination of these quarterbacks that are left out there, is what and they throw Will Levis in there. You're banking on Will Levis to save your job because Brandon Allen ain't going to save your job. We saw that Mason Rudolph barely, was able to do anything, and Brandon Allen's many, many years older than Mason Rudolph. So, like, at this point, if you're looking to save your job and have success, right? Because obviously, saving your job is tied to success. Your best chances are Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Your leftover choices are Joe Flacco, Will Levis, Brandon Allen, Drew Lock. Those guys.
Well, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, they're still out there.
If you
I'm not saying I'd sign them, but I'm just saying they're available.
If you haven't shown interest now.
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
Why do you think Cam Ward saves his job?
I don't think Cam Ward, I think your best chance to save your job. There's a difference.
Is with a rookie quarterback?
Well, it's better than the alternatives right now.
Well, it's how
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying best chance.
Best chance. Well, what I'll say is I'll phrase it a little bit differently. Cam Ward buys you time. I think that's what it would say because you can say, especially if you see progress. Right. And that's my whole issue last year. And so you could easily blame it on Will Levis. But at the same time, what did I keep saying? The offense still looked the same even with Mason Rudolph out there. Now, different kind of mistakes, but there were mistakes. Yeah. And so same offensive line, that didn't change. And he got rid of the ball quicker, but we still had the same results as far as from the quarterback play. It was below average. Veteran quarterback to younger quarterback. Can't say he was a rookie, younger quarterback. So I think this year will be the tell of the tape, whether you want to go with a veteran quarterback or a rookie quarterback to see if head coach Callahan, is really a good fit for coaching quarterbacks in the National Football League.
If you were going for
because that's not been proven.
Quarterback route.
That's not proven.
Yeah, if you would have gone, if you thought that you needed a veteran quarterback, you missed out on that boat, in my opinion, already. I mean, I know that the Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers is out there, but you haven't shown interest in them so far. Doesn't mean you couldn't just jump into the conversation and all that at the last minute. True. But you weren't even entertaining Sam Darnold, who's on a super inexpensive deal, and you didn't even want to play ball in that court very well. So at that point, again, their actions tell us a lot more than their words. And I'm not talking, I'm just talking in general now. Their actions are telling us it's Cam Ward. I mean, it could be Shedeur Sanders, right? I mean, I know they're going to draft
a quarterback.
Yeah, they're drafting a quarterback.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's what they think is the best path forward for the team that's going to yield competitive on-field results is obviously not this veteran quarterback. Isn't it? That answer to that question is not in this veteran quarterback market. It's in the draft.
So if we don't see, let's say the Titans draft Cam Ward, and then let's play out the season, and he looks average at best, and then he doesn't develop or progress, what then?
Oh, okay. So repeat your
Cam Ward is the quarterback.
You draft Cam Ward,
right?
Okay.
They do. Let's play this out. I said let's play it out and move forward.
Oh, okay.
Let's say Cam Ward's the pick, and then we see little or incremental type improvement from the quarterback position, a la like Will Levis. The same thing. We see the same things happening. How would you view that?
What does it result in the same record as well?
Maybe 4 or 5 wins.
Yeah, he's gone. I mean, there was just no way around it. I mean, he's gone. I can't sit there and keep him. You have to show improvement, right? I mean, you have to show not just a quarterback, but the offense has to show improvement.
The reason why I asked that is because Mason Rudolph, the offense looked the same somewhat generally, and with Will Levis. Nothing really changed with the offense as far as results.
Well, then
if it doesn't, winning or losing,
right?
I'm talking
and if
about
it still
offense.
Doesn't change again, because if your offense is the same as last year, after investing in this offensive line with theoretically a better quarterback situation, and your offense is the same, you know what the problem is. The problem is your coach. I mean, that's just, there's no way around it, right? I mean, that's how you have to look at it. If you're a GM or a fan or us on the radio, if it all looks the same and the outcomes are the same and the stats are the same, the product on the field is the same, if everything is the same, The only variable is the only constant is the coach.
Or the coaching staff, right?
Yeah. So there you go. You have your answer. Doesn't mean that Will Levis was done wrong or Will Levis is a good quarterback or anything, but that means you have to cut bait with your coaching staff. There's just no logical reason you could give to say that, hey, everything looks the same as last year. We invested all this money into an offensive line. We invested all this money and draft capital into Cam Ward. We turned down offers to get more draft picks because we believed Cam Ward was the guy. You're the issue. Our investments are set. We're moving on from you. And it's a very distinct possibility that this comes out. We've talked about it, that it doesn't save his job. It's the best. They view it as the best chance and what's best for the long-term health of the franchise. Brian Callahan technically does not fit into that, right? Like what's best for the long-term health of this franchise can be Cam Ward and not Brian Callahan.
Well, what I'm getting, then this leads me to the second question is, Will Levis and Cam Ward, no veteran presence in the locker room. I know we got Allen, but we could say he knows the offense. But here's what
nobody really push him.
Right. First of all, the respect around the National Football League with Allen compared to other players is not going to be the same.
Right.
So let's get that out there, regardless of who he is and what he does. Unless he's just all of a sudden comes here and shows he can be a starting quarterback. So I'm just wondering, do they feel like that Allen is actually the presence that they need with Will Levis in the competition with a Cam Ward?
So
that's what you're going into the season
what
with.
We kind of touched on this a little bit on Friday when we were there, and I said like it's like they provide two different things. Brandon Allen is the guy that's kind of your mental mentor. He can make the transition of Cam Ward learning the playbook a little bit easier, learning his reads, giving the young quarterback the proper ways to meet the expectations of the coach. Because he knows what Brian Callahan's expectations are. He knows what Brian Callahan wants at practice and what he wants, during games and all that kind of stuff. Will Levis is almost your physical competition. I understand the process of signing Brandon Allen. I think you could have done better at that position. Because I don't think he's on the same level as Jarrett Stidham or same level as Marcus Mariota, which are two guys that pushed their quarterbacks enough. You knew it wasn't a competition, but they made it a competition. If they go out there and say with Cam Ward after he's drafted, oh yeah, we're having an open quarterback competition, I'm going to laugh at their face. Don't lie to us. It's Cam Ward's job. But the problem is that you have not built up any kind of level of competition from one person. You're almost getting it from two different places. And I don't think that's the way to go for any quarterback situation. I think you should always
still trade Levis too once the preseason starts.
You should always have a quarterback that's not threatening but threatening. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like you want a quarterback that can push you and push your young guy, but not enough where your young guy's like starting to like, oh, is this
So
blah, blah, blah.
Levis is the physical, Allen's the brain.
That's kind of why I view it.
Okay.
You got one quarterback between two quarterbacks.
Just remember, though, so what happens if one gets nicked up or Cam gets nicked up, and then who you playing?
I think I think at that point, unless he gets nicked up during the offseason, because I don't think Will Levis is going to be on this team.
Right.
I don't think that's because they're going to cut him. I think
they're
he's
going to trade him.
going to demand a trade.
Yeah. I think in the preseason they're going to try to do just like Malik Willis.
Right.
He's going to play to a trade.
When we come back, we'll talk about some of the free agent signings with Coach Mack. Got Kevin Zeitler, Xavier Woods, talk about with him, and talk about how his draft board's shaping up. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
Stinky, stinky, stinky. Is that what it's like the last time you were at an auto repair shop? Smelly, greasy old rags laying around on the countertop that you would not dare touch? Another thing that stinks is the repair shops that keep your car forever. And they're not honest. They don't call you back when they say they will. Was that your last experience at a vehicle repair shop? Well, hey, it's Blaine Bitch to tell you about Eurofix, and they take the stink out of European auto repair. And at Eurofix, you get a free 15-minute, no-wrench inspection with an estimate at every visit and not high-pressure sales tactics. But at Eurofix, also, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment and never pay dealer pricing. Family-owned for 26 years. Located in Franklin, Hunted Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. And always tell them Blaine sent you.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. You know what that music means. It must be 2:20 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. That means that we're going to be joined by Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Attack. As always, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. And Mack, a guy, we were kind of talking about Brandon Allen, the backup quarterback, or the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. Should not, I guess, relegate him to backup just quite yet. But he was drafted in the 2016 NFL draft, has apparently stuck around for a while. You know, he has ties to, the Cincinnati Bengals and Brian Callahan. But how does a guy like this provide, what skills does he provide as competition for a younger quarterback, whether that's a rookie or Will Levis? Like, how does a quarterback like this push a player from a coach's perspective?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, before we start talking about backup quarterbacks, Blaine, congratulations, man.
Oh, appreciate it, Coach.
No. That is. Early in my coaching career, I spent 3 years in the state of Indiana. There are some legitimate people in that Hall of Fame, and that's a huge, huge honor. I mean, it really is, because of what you did in that state. Both in high school and at Ball State. Mm-hmm. But then for them to come and honor you like that, that's really, really a plus. I mean, that's the same Hall of Fame that Larry Bird's in.
Yeah,
he was there at Indiana State when I was there. Bruce Baumgartner was an Olympic gold medal champion wrestler when I was there. So congratulations, man. That's very cool. And it's, sometimes when you get something like this, you hear people say, well, it's well-deserved. There's a difference between deserved and earned. You earned that. So very proud of you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Coach, man. I've been blessed, man. I'm thoroughly blessed, man. Super excited, too. Thank you.
You earned it. You earned it, just like you earned everything that you did when you were in this league. I got to witness that and experience that, so congrats.
Yeah, they don't know that me and you used to meet all the time, right, Coach?
They don't need to know everything. Back to Zach's question. Look, what you do with a quarterback like that. First of all, the first competition that he will be is in the middle part of it, because he knows the offense, he knows the nuances of it, and a lot of times, I mean that's really your quarterback room. Your quarterback room, I mean, every room is important, that you have some so-called senior mentorship in the room, but the quarterback room especially, because you're only dealing with 2 or 3 people. So that environment is very, very critical. But somebody in there has to be able to give answers other than the coaches, because there's a lot that goes into playing quarterback in this league. And especially depending on where your quarterbacks are coming in to that room, depending on what their experience level is, you always need somebody that they can lean on to say, hey, this is what he said. What does he really mean? How does this fold into what we're trying to do? I mean, that I would assume, and again, you know what assume does for us, but just looking at it, I would think that would be kind of his role to start with.
When you look at this offensive line, they obviously had talked about it all the time. Every team says build through the trenches. So they were aggressive with it. We've already talked about Dan Moore with you last week, but this week, or after that, they signed Kevin Zeitler, who has aged like fine wine. I mean, this is a guy that's been durable throughout his entire career. He's been very good as well. What are they getting with Kevin Zeitler, maybe not just on the field, but also in the locker room with his veteran presence?
Yeah, Zach's kind of very much the same thing. Very much the same thing, except this guy has performed at a high level as an offensive guard in this league for quite a while. The other thing that's impressive about him, which impresses me about players in this league more than anything else, is he's always available. He's always been available. He's answered the bell, for most every year that he has played in this league. And offensive linemen, a lot of times they can work in obscurity still be doing a great job. Don't get the accolades that come with some of these other positions as far as Pro Bowls or things like that. But people in the league know who's who in the zoo. This guy, all of us that have been involved with this and know it down to a pretty good detail of who's performing and who's not, he has always been a guy that has really been a solid foundational piece in a center guard triangle wherever he's played. It kind of reminds me, guys, you remember, when the year I left the Rams, we were still trying to find offensive linemen because they had the defense solidified. You could name those players. The quarterback was gaining experience, but they, still needed a left tackle. They went to Cincinnati and got Andrew Whitworth. And Whitworth was kind of the same kind of piece with that, and he really solidified that offensive line. And so that's what you're getting with this guard.
We're on with Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Well, Coach, I want you to kind of go through, we talked a little bit about Levis, but let's talk about when Levis came out and what his prospects look, because sometimes that doesn't determine how much success you'll have with arm talent or how fast you are or whatever it may be for every position. And how Cam Ward looks and the good and bad and indifference, what you see just on tape based off of what you've seen with Cam Ward to Will Levis, because we all know Will Levis has all the arm talent in the world, and that doesn't always translate. And sometimes it takes some quarterbacks a little bit longer and more reps in game to then get to their success level. So just kind of take us through what you see in Cam Ward in film versus when Levis was in college and what you saw.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a different offense that they were running.
Got you.
But that being aside, you talk about the physical traits. Cam Ward is a looser, more limber athlete in the things that he does. I mean, Will Levis is a big, strong, sturdy athlete. But I say loose. I mean, when you watch Cam Ward throw, it's pretty much like watching a shortstop flick it. And flick it pretty quick. And the other thing, that I like, a strength is he is deceptively strong enough to be able to get out of trouble, to pull out of things, and still be able to put the ball, where he wants it. Now, the thing that he's coming into the league, there are things that every quarterback in collegiate football can get away with that you can't get away with in this league. You just can't. And one of them being you cannot underestimate the speed of the people that are chasing you on defense. You just can't. So I mean, he could run away from people, pretty much in the collegiate game. So he will clearly have to learn that. But if I were saying, the thing that differentiate them, both got strong arms, both are good athletes. He's just a little looser, more flexible athlete if you want to break that component of it down.
Now, Coach, talk about this, and I haven't sat in a quarterback's room, but it's much different than every position in the National Football League. How much do you want to bring someone as a quarterback as a threat? Or do you put your number one, if this happens, your number one quarterback immediately in the starting lineup, which some say yes, and then some others kind of let you kind of work your way to it, but you know that he's going to be your guy. How would you approach that if you were coaching today, and today's are not using those players? How would you bring in competition, or do you need that level of competition and try to ease them in?
No, I mean, look, it depends on where you're drafting the guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really does. Even everybody wants to make the comparison. That Alex Smith was at Kansas City when Andy traded up to go get Mahomes and let him sit for a year. Well, Alex Smith was a first round pick. He was a first round pick that had success. So he was coming in there, really to sit on a team that had some pretty good pieces already in place. It depends on where you are structurally as an organization and where you are and where you are with the personnel that you have around you. Not everywhere are you going to be able to draft somebody at the top tier of the draft and then say that you already have somebody in place. You got everything else in place on your roster, and that person that you draft as a quarterback can afford to sit. if you're drafting somebody high as a quarterback in this league, you want to have enough around him where, as he starts to work into being able to play, you want to give him every opportunity to play, but you also want to give him enough help around him early on that he's just not there by himself. I mean, that to me is a huge difference. And I think the makeup of your squad, every situation is different. The only thing that I can relate it to is when I was with the Bears, McMahon was towards the end of his career, and we drafted Jim Harbaugh in the middle of the first round, but we didn't expect Jim Harbaugh to come in there and be the starter. Jimmy Mack still had something left to him. So I think every situation is different, but you want to draft the guy. If you're drafting someone that high, you want to believe that sooner or later they are going to be the dude.
Now, we signed a linebacker, but kind of take us through in your wheelhouse what traits you want in a linebacker that maybe is a little bit different than the guy you signed. Or do you sign someone just like him, or do you just kind of wait on the development of the young players?
Well, first I want somebody that when I watch him on tape and then when I vet him and visit with them can tell me what they're looking at. Can tell me what they're looking at pre-snap and post-snap, and I want to find out really quick. Is this mentally a K&D guy, or is this a guy that's playing rat ball and can get to the football, but he really can't tell me what he's looking at, and he really can't tell me because look, there's a lot of technique that is involved when you come into this league just because of the quality of the athletes that offensive linemen are. You've got to learn. You've got to learn pre-snap read. You've got to learn extension, shock and shed arms. In collegiate football, the way it's played and the way that the dimensions of the field are, you can get away with a lot of what I call being a jazz player as a linebacker and dipping and ripping, running through, running, trying to overlap, those types of things. In the National Football League as a linebacker, where you put your eyes and how you get out ahead of plays before they even start is a huge, huge part of it. I've never, in all of my years, I don't care which round I got a linebacker in, I've never had one come in that was ready to be able to play shock and shed and knew exactly where to put their eyes. That has to be trained into them. But the thing I want to find out, first of all, is once I sit down with them, go through their tape, go through their film, and start explaining that, how fast they can pick it up. And the other thing I look for is linebackers need short area, quick, and burst, because their life lives in a real confined box. But short area, quick burst, and an excellent ability to K&D, which is key and diagnose quicker, because you've got to be able to get ahead of the offensive play rather than sit there and wait for the ball to be snapped and then wait for the play to come at you. Because if that happens, you can relate to this, Blaine. If that happens, a lot of times you get swallowed up with the chaos that's going around up in there.
And lastly, just real quick, Mel Kiper and all the draft analysts, I'm not going to just say him, said the stars are starting to align and Tennessee Titans are going to draft Cam Ward. Like, when you used to sit in there in the coaching room, like, dang, you used to look around like, who the heck is he talking to? Because that's not true. Do you ever used to do that or say, that may be true?
You remember Bill Tobin when he was the GM of the Indianapolis Colts? Who in the hell is Mel Kiper? Okay, now.
I remember that interview.
Mel has made a great living doing this.
Yes, he has.
But Mel Kiper has never drafted one player. But the draft is a cottage industry unto itself. So you're asking me as a coach, for 3+ decades in the league, if I ever paid attention at this time of year to what was going on out there when people were chumming the water for information, the answer is absolutely not, because nobody in an organization, any of the 32, is going to tell anybody outside of the building what's going on, especially with the draft. I mean, it just doesn't happen. Now, you'll have people, again, it's a complete industry out there now. But you're asking me, truthfully, talking to you, if I ever paid any attention to what was said, the answer is no.
There you have it, Coach Mack giving us the Mac attack.
Coach, when you were talking about Cam Ward playing loose, Bucks had a guest on his show, Nate Tice, who was talking about the NFL draft, talking about Cam Ward, and he mentioned the same thing. And he kind of theorized that maybe the lack of being a quarterback that has been trained to be a quarterback since 9 years old is part of the reason why he's able to play so loose. But also as a coach, you kind of have to allow a player to play a little bit loose too. So how much, when you see that, because we saw Andy Reid let Patrick Mahomes play loose within the confines of, obviously, of the offensive system. I mean, do you find that to be a big positive that he's able to play so loose and not play so robotic? Or do you prefer maybe because I know you guys drafted Jared Goff and he was kind of seen as a pure pocket thrower of the football that will do whatever you tell him to do. I mean, as an NFL coach in today's day and age, do you like that he plays a little bit loose and his throwing motions a little bit more like that, almost like a baseball player in a way?
Yeah, you know who the first one is that I vetted during my years of vetting quarterbacks for teams is the first guy that played loose like that. That was a complete wild horse rider. Was Brett Favre. I mean, Brett Favre was like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Brett Favre. When you watch him at Southern Miss, I mean, that's what you saw. I mean, he was a wild horse rider as soon as he had that ball in his hand, but it came out quick. He was elusive, and also he just made plays happen. But he could spin it. Now when he spun it, I mean, and again, when he gets to Green Bay, he worked within the confines of what the offense was, but he never lost that. If you just remember the way Brett Favre was, you could never tell when that ball was coming out, and when he got ready to spin it, I mean, he was throwing piss missiles. You couldn't react to it, so you got to get. I mean, that you never want to take away from a quarterback. And Andy did the same thing. He did the exact same thing. Because go back to Texas Tech, watch those tapes when Patrick Mahomes was playing down there. He was kind of the same way. I wrote it in my write-up. I said he's of Mahomes. I said he's a little bit of a wild horse rider at times. Reminds me a little bit. Not same body structure, but just a little bit of the way he's doing things, the way Favre was at Southern Miss.
What position group has surprised you with how many maybe have made it onto your and Brett's big board that you guys are building for the draft? Like a position group that you kind of, when you step back after, phase two, and you're kind of like, man, I can't believe we have this many compared to years past of this particular position group.
Running backs. This is a good draft for running backs. Mm-hmm. I mean, and if you're going to get a running back, to come in and probably make your team and be able to be a contributor. I mean, I'm not talking about the Saquon Barkley's or Derrick Henry was a second round pick, but I'm not talking about. But I'm talking about guys that can legitimately come in, and because the way offenses are now being played in collegiate ball, you've got several guys that can be 3-down backs in this league. That group right there kind of surprised me as far as to when you start going through all the pods as to where there's some legitimate dudes in that second and third pod, which the third pod's the third day, that will be able to help a team.
When you were talking earlier about, help around the quarterback early on, obviously a lot of people, the old idiom is that a running back is a young quarterback's best friend. They have Tony Pollard, they have Tyjae Spears. Is there another spot in this draft where you take a running back? Because, like you said, and I agree with you, it's very deep, very talented. It would seem to be at some point throughout maybe day 3, best player available is likely going to be a running back. And it feels like there's a spot open for a running back to make this team and to make an impact on this offense.
Yeah, I mean, there may be. Now, depending on how the board falls, I mean, I'll just tell you right here. I mean, just off the top of my head, remembering how this thing is lined up, we're talking about the third day. I mean, R.J. Harvey from Central Florida. Have you guys watched him? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's Rashard Smith from SMU. Trevor Etienne from Georgia is a good player. There's a kid at Virginia Tech that's really interesting to me, just because I like to look at guys. Basil Tootin.
Yeah.
For Virginia Tech, originally a North Carolina AT&T guy. So you asked me, are there some guys there? Yeah, Zach, there are.
That will do it for us. We appreciate Coach Mack for you joining us. Always enlightening. Always learn a lot. Always take a lot of notes after talking to you. So like that really helps to have you on the show early in the week. That's for sure.
That's very kind of you. Appreciate both of you guys again. Blaine, congrats, brother.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks.
That is Coach Mack, of course, here for his weekly Mac Tech. He joins us 2 p.m. every Tuesday, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. When we come back, we'll talk about the salary cap for the Tennessee Titans is cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
We've got the trucks, all the trims, all the towing, all the bells and whistles, and all at Truck Month Savings. Two Rivers Ford is Ford Truck Central.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by all Four Season Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. And Blaine, just give everybody a little cap update right now. The Tennessee Titans sit at a top 51 cap space, so the top 51 contracts. That's the cap space you see everywhere.
Okay.
$45.2 million.
That puts them like a fifth in the league? I'm just guessing.
Don't know yet because not all the contracts that came through, but it's right around there. But their effective cap space, once you take out what the draft picks are going to cost you, they're sitting at $37.2 million. So still got a lot of cap space to work with. They don't have to use it all, but they still got a lot of cap space to work with.
Don't they have to use like 85% of it or something?
Well, that's over a 3-year span and all that kind of stuff. And they've trust me, they've spent a lot of the previous two regimes, so they're covered for a little bit. The cash situation, they have spent so far, and not all the contracts. We're still waiting on Draymond Jones' contract to come in as of right now. Xavier Woods' contract number. So not all the contracts are in. They've spent so far, first year cash, $62.3 million. Just remember last year, first year cash was over $100 million. They spent a lot in first year cash. By my estimates, I would say that they would roughly leave them around $21 to $25 million left for free agency. As far as the big signings for starters and stuff like that. So I think they can still make some plays, not big splashy plays or anything, because most of those players are gone, but make some plays for some players that can still help and contribute to this team. Just real quick, I want to throw some names out there. So I looked at some positions. Not all of them are like high priority positions, but I wanted to find durable players, experienced players. So I loved what Nick Vannett provided the team last year. By moving on from Nick Vannett, I'm not bringing him back.
Real quick question, though, before you start.
Okay.
How many of the guys did you recommend the Titans sign, and did they sign?
Man,
Just give me a number.
I think I don't. They signed.
You didn't know I was going to ask you this.
I was hoping you wouldn't. They signed 1, 2, 3 of them. So 3.
You recommended
Sebastian Joseph Day, Mike Brown, and Daryl Baker Jr. Everybody else I've not recommended.
But they kept, two of them.
But I got 3 of them. And again, that was a recommendation, not a prediction. I just want that for the record.
Yes.
For the record. So I'm getting rid of Nick Vannett. I'm bringing on Mo Alley Cox. He's been with the
Colts.
The Colts from 2021 to 2024. He's played all 17 games of every season.
They didn't re-sign him?
They have not re-signed him. Now he's old, but you're not looking for anything. He's over 30-something years old. So yeah, he's younger than Nick Vannett.
Oh.
But Nick Vannett was 32, and I think he's 31. Now, this is to fill the Nick Vannett role, because right now the Tennessee Titans do not have a tight end too. And before everybody comes for me, I understand that everybody has fallen in love with David Martin Robinson. I understand the fantastic story of Thomas Odukoya. And I understand they drafted Josh Wiley a few drafts ago. But none of those guys have proven anything in this league. And Chig is only good for half a season. Man, when it's the second half of that season, Chig really turns it on. That first half, we haven't seen it. So I'm going with Mo Alley Cox just as it's a backup signing. Like, it's a vet presence. You got to have a vet presence at tight end.
Man, I only thought he was only in the league like 4 years. This is a guy who played like another sport and then converted. This is a tall guy, right?
Yeah, tall guy, big, rangy guy.
He was a
can
basketball
he's
player.
a little shifty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like him.
So, like, I'm thinking at that point, you got Mo Alley Cox. He's been in the league since 2018. He is about to be, at the start of the season, 32 years old.
Oh, so he's just older, but he's 2018.
Yeah.
So 7 years old.
I'm bringing in Tyler Lockett. Again, these are budget bargain bin signings, vet presence. He's only missed 3 games his entire career, supposedly, according to ProFootballReference.com. 3 games. I think when I think about money, I'm thinking like a $6 or $7 million 1-year deal. If you need to bump it up to 2, let's do it. But I'm looking at it and going, why not go with Tyler Lockett? Like, he fits a need. He's a better version of Tyler Boyd was for you last year. You'll get more production. He can still get deep. His average depth of target didn't drop down hardly at all. And he still got 12.4 yards per reception last year. He got relegated to wide receiver 3, and he put up wide receiver 3 numbers, and that's what you're looking for. We're looking for a wide receiver 2, but my preference is to get a wide receiver 2 in the draft.
And he almost has 9,000 yards receiving.
Right.
I loved him when he came. Where did he go? Kansas State? Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
You're looking for guys to distribute the ball to.
Yes, I
and
got
to be at the right spot. And if you got Cam Ward, why not bring in Tyler Lockett to pair him up with Calvin Ridley to then also get you another guy in the draft for Cam Ward to grow up with?
Quality, proven player.
Mo Alley Cox, proven player, durable player. Tyler Lockett, proven player, durable player. I'm bringing in both Smith brothers, and they're not brothers, but I'm bringing in Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith.
Oh,
Preston Smith can rotate in and out with Arden Key for right now, but Zadarius Smith starts. You got Draymond Jones. Zadarius Smith, famously, very productive. He's also very durable. And Preston Smith is the same way. He is also very durable. He lacks the production. He's on the wrong side of the career. But you need bodies. And I think that with Preston Smith, Draymond Jones, Zadarius Smith, and Arden Key, and Jalen Harrell, and a rookie, one of those guys can go and not break the bank. You don't have to keep Preston Smith, right? You can always cut Preston Smith. You don't have to keep Arden Key. Maybe you cut Arden Key and save yourself $7,000 in cash. I'm looking at building a complete roster, and I think both those guys could build you a complete roster. And the very last guy, I'm still bringing back Nick Folk. Where's Nick Folk at? Why haven't you signed him? Who is kicking footballs for this team? But I'm bringing back Nick Folk. So those are...
You can't get a rookie for cheaper? I mean, if
maybe,
you already...
but I mean, you don't know about consistency with a rookie.
Oh, well, I mean, or a younger player.
Yeah.
I think just based off of what they did with Stonehouse, to me, I think they're looking for that cheaper route who is proven in this league. So when I say younger guy, somebody who is actually kicked maybe half of a season and was pretty consistent throughout, and just, it's hard to be kicking in the veteran guy came back.
Yeah. So yeah. I think that's 4 guys that think that with then you have Nick Folk, but 4 new guys added to this team that I think that hit all the right spots for this roster of what is needed, what is inexpensive, but it also provides you valuable leadership experience and production in different ways. Because Mo Alley Cox is still a very good blocker as well. And you need that bigger body guy. And listen, again, signing Mo Alley Cox with Chig, and I know Josh Wiley's in a lot of, none of those guys prevent you from drafting a tight end if you choose to find one. But it's all about approaching the draft without many holes on the roster, and they still got a lot of holes on the roster to fill.
Yeah, they do. And guess what? I do like the tight end draft this year, and I would, 4th, 5th round, I think this year you get a better product in the 4th, 5th round that would impact your team much more so than the guys that are on the team. So they were drafted in those same rounds. So, yeah.
That will do it for us. 3HL's live from King's Bowling in Franklin. You should go out there and see them. $10 tickets for the buffet with unlimited food over there. So make sure that you head over to King's Bowling as well.
Appetizer.
This has been Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here, 105 The Zone. And in the meantime.
And in between time.
Peace.